leftovers, or the DMV,
number 97,
or house cleaning, or
Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
And welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us on this Super Sunday. Get that? All that means to me is we got 1 week to go to the Daytona 500. Woo-hoo! Thanks for being here. Todd Bailing in Super Bowl City, Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my three partners, beginning with Ed Kaluka of West Bend, Wisconsin. Morning, Eddie.
Morning, Todd.
And, of course, there's Dan Margetta in St. Francis, USA.
Good morning. We'll watch a football game today and get ready for the real Super Bowl stock car racing next week.
And you and your partner, Brian Schmidt of Oostburg, Wisconsin, are heading down here to Florida, huh?
Absolutely. Can't wait. Hopefully they get all the rain out of their system down there in Florida this week, which it appears is happening. So we'll be good to go for next week.
Everything will be nice and clean. The tracks will be clean. That's what we want, I guess. I don't know. The last week, to get the season off to a nice, rousing start, we had the Busch Light Clash at the Los Angeles Coliseum. I've seen, how about this? I'm going to be very positive today, and I'm going to say I've seen mixed reviews. There are some people that think that 1 hour and 43 minutes to run 37.5 miles seems to be somewhat excessive. That comes out to, by the way, average speed, 21 miles an hour. Now, that's obviously just a little bit deceiving because there was a lot of action on that track. And if you like action, my God, you were in the right place last week watching that. You were among the folks. Less than last year, but still, I guess, a good enough number to keep it for one more year. Folks, to keep an eye on that. Martin Truex won the thing. And, you know, he had to survive for that long. And the real show, gentlemen, let's face facts. The real show was Kyle Busch, was he not?
Absolutely. That's what I was watching. I mean, you get spun out and go to the back, and then the track you really can't pass, supposedly. He went from the back to the front and was right there at the end. And that's, I think, what everybody was. If you want to watch something in that race, look at him. And as far as it being another year, I think it's a 3-year deal with that race. That's why there's maybe one more year with it.
Oh,
It almost looked like he was racing with a chip on his shoulder.
You think?
Yeah, and in addition to Kyle Busch, I'd add Ryan Preece, also part of the show. I mean, that car, he had a little bit of a mechanical failure at the end, but he looked like someone who knew what he was doing on that flat little track, which he is because of his modified background, and I was really hoping he would have pulled that off. He was something to see, passing cars left and right also.
Amazing. He had some car problems, but boy, oh boy, did he look good. Of course, there's a short track specialist. Don't hand me that short track specialist. They're all short track specialists when you get down to it, aren't they?
Yeah, but in that modified, you got to know.
I'm sorry.
They better be by the time they get to this level.
There you go. And they put a show on, that's for sure. Now, I've seen a lot of criticism printed this week, as one might expect on a race where there's that many cautions and whatnot. Last year, by the way, the race, instead of an hour 43 minutes, took 57 minutes. Last year, there were 5 yellows. This year, 16 yellows. Yeah, a little less patience, probably. Do you get the feeling that NASCAR really liked that and wanted that kind of action to spice up their program there? I mean, it seems like they would have.
Maybe some of it. I don't think they want one every couple laps like that. 16 yellows is pretty excessive because that kind of drags out. You don't get the race doesn't flow and you don't get to watch something. It's just like spin, 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 spin. I think a few cautions make a good race, but that many is probably over.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was spicing up the action. It was just guys spinning, and a couple times I thought a guy spun, got himself straightened out again. You probably could have kept it green, but the way they operate NASCAR, they throw a caution right away. So I mean, some of it probably could have been avoided, but I don't know. It just seemed the second half of it just seemed to drag, and you didn't get the flow of a normal short track race, which is what you were hoping to see. Because every single time somebody would make a pass or whatever, you had a caution right away. It just kind of made it really disjointed.
Now, I saw an article. I read an article this morning from a young lady who Dan is a lot more familiar with than I am. Her name is Alanis King. She's young. She's one of these, and I don't know my ass from what an influencer is, I got to tell you, but she's some kind of influencer. What does she influence? I have no clue. However, she said it was the greatest event she's ever seen in her life. Now, there's going to be that perspective, which I believe is what NASCAR was after in the first place. There were a lot of cautions, and she said they had a disc jockey at the race, and every time there was a caution, they were playing music, and all the young folks were up dancing. This is what they were after. New fans, I guess. It seems to me, to attract new fans, the last thing you really want to do is piss off the old fans. And which did they do more of, Brian? It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, I consider myself an old fan because I've been watching it forever, and that's exactly what it did to me. I mean, I was not watching that. It just turned me off. A lot of the actual short track racing, which is what I really love, you didn't get to see it. You had to deal with all the other crap that was around it that they were force feeding down your throat, and that seemed to be what irritated me. And I don't know, is it healthy to try to attract new fans?
Like what, Brian?
What's that?
Like what? What were they cramming down your throat? What did you like?
Well, the different types of music and they interviewed the guy who was the star of the halftime show, Wiz Khalifa, and he didn't even know what NASCAR was. I'm like, no, that's a kick in the nuts. I mean, the guy goes, yeah, I don't really know. I learn a lot. Well, really? I mean, what did that do for your sport? That
why
didn't
are
help.
you here? We know why he's here.
Yeah, and it's just
new eyes. It's about new eyes, Brian, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to try to get new eyes, but you're going to lose some of your eyes that have been with you forever, what are you gaining? I mean, in my opinion, a traditional fan like me and my family and the people that go to races, go to the races, they spend money on tickets, they spend money on camping, they spend money on apparel, all that stuff. These new fans show up once, are they going to come back again? I kind of doubt it. So really, are you gaining anything by doing this?
I think you got to find some kind of a medium there. I mean, to get new people to come in, I guess you need the music and the non-race stuff to get them to come in there. But I think your focus should still be your event. I mean, look at the Super Bowl today. How many people are going for a football game and how many people are going for a halftime show?
Right.
Well, you have a little of everything because it's such just an event. But yeah, I know what you mean. You have different things you want to attract different people for. You're going to Los Angeles, which is what's the best way to say non-traditional NASCAR country. Okay, and they, I think they did what they were supposed to do. Bring the color, the excitement. By the way, I didn't realize that till today and you guys, I did not watch it live. I was at Tucson watching the Chili Willy 150, listened to it on the way back. Nobody ever mentioned that they had mufflers on the cars. Did it make a big difference in that little enclosed environment like that?
It's hard to say when you watch it on TV because you really didn't know.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, and I will say, I must add, as much as we harp on what happened here this weekend, I think NASCAR is just trying to feel out both sides of this because you got your two exhibition events, which we talked about a couple years ago, the Clash, that you put in a metropolitan area with a non-traditional format with non-traditional people. Now they took their all-star race and are putting it in the old-school traditional format at North Wilkesboro at an old-school track, the old-school feel, all that stuff. That event's already sold out, by the way. So I think what you're seeing here is NASCAR trying to find a medium between the two, and they're going to see which one is more successful. So you go to your traditional tracks, Nashville, they went there, they sold that thing out. You went to the St. Louis, another oval, they sold that thing out. So those traditional events are really doing well. On the other side of it, you have this clash here. You got the street deal this year at Chicago. We're going to see how that works. And maybe in a few years, they're going to see which of the two formats works the best, and that's where they're going to put their focus on. That's what I'm
big
almost
experiment, right?
Yeah, that's what it appears they're doing. And they're getting it from both sides because you got the media markets are the ones pushing this inner city stuff. Ben Kennedy's tweet talked about their TV network and their media partners and their marketing partners all wanted this thing here, and they all want the thing at Chicago. You don't hear the media people pushing for the networks pushing for the thing in North Wilkesboro, but yet that's where all the fans are going to show up. So
at any time during this program, if you'd like to weigh in on anything we are talking about, you can call us at 414-421-7901. We'll take a break.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Catch the latest episodes of the Larrabee and LePay podcast, presented by UW Credit Union, with podcast sponsors Bachman Pools and Spas and Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Available now on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to podcasts.
It was a kind of a big deal when that female basketball player had to go to jail. I'm just wondering how it is that Kyle Busch gets sentenced to 3.5 years in a Mexican jail the week before the Busch Clash, and yet he's racing in the Busch Clash. He was also fined the equivalent of approximately $1,100 US, which, of course, as we all know, is probably change that Kyle had in his pocket. I just wonder what it cost him to buy his way out of 3.5 years in a Mexican prison. And having a ex-con in NASCAR racing, is that the type of thing that NASCAR wants these days? Is that the picture that we're painting for our kids? He was, what was it? It took a gun into Mexico with him, which, if this sounds familiar, just stop me. Oh, I didn't know it was in my luggage. Didn't work for Brittany Griner, but apparently it worked okay for Kyle Busch. Of course, I will add, Russian prisons and Mexican prisons are two completely different prisons. One, you can pretty much take the change in your pocket and walk out the door. The other one is all politics. So, Kyle, How can you forget that you have a gun loaded with hollow point bullets as you're going into another country? Is that even possible?
Leftovers. Or the DMV.
Number 97.
Or house cleaning. Or
Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Well, it happens enough that I guess it is possible. I mean, the way I've been reading up on it, some of this stuff is that, Mexican laws are, you have a prison sentence, but there's also ways to get out of going to it too. And that must have what happened here.
We have ways.
Well, and I don't know. Do you pay a fine and essentially it's on your record, but you're not spending the time? I don't know. Is it, how that all works? I've never been to Mexico and I've never been in trouble like that before. So
well, there you go. And I wonder if Joe Biden had to make a phone call and trade some guys for him. I'm not sure. We didn't hear it. If it did, I think he was too busy blowing, Chinese balloons out of the sky. But I'm not positive about that either. I didn't follow it too closely. Whatever it was, it didn't create enough of a problem so that Kyle was even late for his Los Angeles date with his debut in the number 8 car.
That's how it even came out. I mean, really, it was somebody was scouring the internet to find a newspaper in Mexico, wherever he was. I don't know if it was Cancun or whatever city he was in. It was in a story in there about guns that had come through here, and it said, and one line in the story said an famous American race car driver, Kyle Busch, was part of it. It was just, that's it. I mean, it happened to be in L.A. where they were racing last week, which is like the king of paparazzi. And you're like, somebody had to be scouring through that to find something, and they found that off that little, internet story on a Mexican newspaper, and that's how it kind of blew up from there. It started with TMZ, and then boom, there it went.
There it went. Well, either way, it didn't create much of a ripple. We didn't even know about it till a week after it happened. And so, Kyle, I just like, thinking that he's a foreign refugee. Let's can we even think of him that way? Please. It would make it so much more fun to root for the guy. It's not fun enough that he's done the job he has already in that number 8 car. Good God.
I see a sponsorship coming from like Winchester or something like that.
Wouldn't that be perfect? Why aren't they knocking on the door already? Hey, that kid, what's his name again? Kyle Busch. Oh, yeah. We ought to sponsor that boy. Yeah, you should. That wasn't the only big news that came out this week. In these parts, just hearing that we're losing another racetrack is a pretty big deal, and that is what happened this week. And we're hearing that Rockford Speedway is closing down for good and being sold to a developer after this season. Is it a big surprise? I can't really say that it is, guys. The place hasn't been well kept up, and probably for a pretty good reason, because they could feel the neighborhood moving in, don't you think?
Yeah, that's what it appeared to be, And car counts were suffering a little bit there the last couple of years, and it's still sad to see. I mean, I went there as a kid from the mid '80s all the way through the late '90s, twice a year. We'd make the drive down on Sunday mornings and go to the Spring Classic and go to the National Short Track Championships. But it struggled. A few years ago, I think it was 2016, they put dirt on it one weekend for or for 1 week when Craftsman was a sponsorship of the World of Outlaw late models and the sprint cars, just to see how that would work. And that didn't work too great because the track is so small, and the safety aspect of it. I think, didn't a sprint car go up into the fence, Dan, when we were there that day? I think
a wheel
did, yeah. So they've tried different things there, and then when the eldest Deary passed away last year, I think that was probably the final straw. And the amount of money that property is worth, I mean, you'd never be able to make that racing there, and that's just basic economics.
I think that land is worth so much that your property tax pretty high in that deal, and it's just not feasible to have a racetrack anymore. Exactly. It's sad. Everybody understands why it happened. It's just still sad that you're taking away. I mean, that's somebody's livelihood. That's somebody. There's somebody like us, Brian. That like I look at Slinger for myself. I went through it at Hales Corners. I mean, you just spend all the time there, and that's such a huge part of your life. It's hard to just watch it go away. Hales Corners went away to M&R's, and I've yet to set foot in that store, and it's been there 20 years. I mean, it's just the way it is.
I mean, think about the state of Illinois now. I mean, you're going to be down to, if my memory serves me correct, one asphalt short track being Grundy, and that's going to be it in the entire state of Illinois, and that's a big state, That's sad. That's tough for asphalt racing to have that when you have that large of an area and it has so few tracks.
At least close to us. There might be some downstate that we don't really know about, although I can't tell you I know who they are. And if they do, we don't read about them very much. The rest are all dirt tracks, right? Yeah,
Illinois is strong on that. They're very strong dirt track wise, but the asphalt side of it is just losing tough for them.
It's a sad day. What can I tell you? We can't afford losing all these short tracks because if you haven't noticed, they're not really building new ones.
That's why we're so blessed in the state of Wisconsin. I mean, really think about how blessed you are in the state of Wisconsin to have all these tracks. I mean, yeah, we've lost a couple over the years. Hales Corner, we lost Manitowoc, but for the most part, they're all pretty strong and healthy around here, and it's important that all of us in this state continue to keep them that healthy.
And remember, Wisconsin International Raceway in Kaukauna is for sale. They want to get a ridiculous amount of money together to sell it for developers, but that doesn't mean if you come with the right amount, it's not going to be gone, and that's another one. We'll be back.
Gross shoots. Scored! Oh, what a ripper from Jordan Gross!
The Milwaukee Admirals take a 3-game winning streak into a school day game on Wednesday morning when they travel to Chicago to take on the Wolves.
Goes to the KG, shoots and scores!
3-game coverage at 10:30 in the morning. Face off at 11 a.m. on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit BonafideSafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
The NASCAR Cup Series.
Now in the final lap, Blaney buried up under the back bumper of the Keselowski car.
Returns to the World Center of Racing.
Halfway down the back straightaway, here comes Cindric to the inside of Blaney.
As drivers look to race their way into the Daytona 500.
Checkers in the air, across the line, Brad Keselowski wins.
It's the Blue-Green Vacations Duel at Daytona.
Thursday night, coverage starts at 5 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
We are on the cusp of the racing season. This is Daytona week. It's Speed Week. It's the one that gets everybody's batteries charged for the whole year. Brian and Dan will both be going down there, not only to see everything happening at the big track, but you guys are planning on going to New Smyrna and Volusia, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, it's a full week. We're gonna fly in Tuesday. I think we fly into Tampa. We're going to drive across to New Smyrna Tuesday night because that's the Southern Super Series opener, that Clyde Hart Memorial 100. Pays $10,000 to win. Looks like a pretty good, strong field of cars. Then we'll hit Volusia either Thursday for sure, maybe Wednesday too. Friday probably truck race. Saturday Xfinity ARCA, and we hit back to New Smyrna or Volusia where we want to go, and then Sunday the 500. So it's a full week.
It is. And
Yes, it is.
It's such a racing paradise, isn't it?
Oh, there's so much to do down there. I mean, you almost wish you could be in multiple places at the same time, to be honest with you. But it's just you got to pick what you can go to, and hopefully the weather's great. And it doesn't matter where you go. Every track you walk into is going to be full. Every track you walk into, you're going to see familiar faces from around here that are escaping what isn't a too harsh of a winter up here, actually. But to go down there and watch the stuff, and yeah, it's a good time. A lot of different types of racing to see.
Have we ever had a 500?
I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
Have we ever had a 500 where we're going to have zero practice before the duels? I mean, we're going to take one lap of qualifying and we're going to ride them up and race the duels on Thursday night, and those cars won't be on the track at all, hardly.
Ed, does this make any sense whatsoever to you?
Not really.
I mean,
the traditional way was practice, qualify, and race, and we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I understand going back to the COVID days where that was important to skip practice, okay? I mean, I even thought it was a stretch then, but okay, we understood COVID and all that. Are you really doing the teams a favor by cutting out practice?
Well, I think it's hurting the racing because these teams need that practice with this new car to find out what they need to fix. And now they have to get all that data from the race and then transfer it to the next race. It just doesn't make for better racing.
And they are going to get 2 practice sessions, though, one on Friday and one on Saturday before the 500. But with the already, I mean, is this their way maybe of trying to make the duels more special? The fact that, hey, you guys aren't going to be on the track until the duels actually occur, so then you're going to have to go out there and
yeah.
I don't know. I don't think are they going to race as hard without the practice, Ed?
Well, no, because Daytona's Daytona. There's not much you do to a car to get it fast at Daytona. It's more aero dependent and all that, but it's the short tracks that we need to practice at, not the big tracks.
So is that maybe why they're not having to practice then? Is the idea is, all right, this way everybody's going to participate. I mean, they all participate in the duels anyway, but this way you're not going to have any guys pulling off or anything like that because you're not going to get the practice, and that's going to be your practice session.
Right.
And you're going to have 6 open cars, looks like right now, we're signed up. There was going to be a 7th one. That's not going to happen. There's an 80 car that was going to show up for J.J. Yaley. Looks like they're going to make their debut, supposedly, at Phoenix a couple weeks
and
away.
only 4 of those cars actually make it to the show.
All right, so 2 go home. Your open cars are 84, Jimmy Johnson, 13, Chandler Smith, which is the colleague car, 67, Travis Pastrana, which is a 2311 car, 36, Zane Smith, the front row motorsports car, then 62, Austin Hill, that's a Beard Motorsports car, and then 50, Connor Daly coming over from the IndyCar race. So if you look at those 6, 62 a Hill and a 50 a Daly are the 2 guys that don't have any teammates, and they may be in trouble, I think, in those duels because I think all the other guys are going to have if your teammates are in the same duel, they're going to hook up and they're going to draft you to the front.
I remember back in the day when it was the way you qualified to get into that race this Thursday was either a pole or a win. Then they changed it to the top 30 in points.
No, that was for the Clash. The duels were always you qualified 1 lap of qualifying, the top 2 were locked in, everything else got set your lineup for the
odds and evens.
Yeah, for the qualifying races, and the top was 15 in each race made it, and then the last 10 cars from.
And they made a big deal about that race for 15th because there was always one guy, the Cinderella story, who may or may not make it.
Right.
For that one year that Brad Keselowski brought his brother up and that junk box car, that 92 he had, and that car was falling apart, but because Brad had the faster car behind him, he pushed his brother into the race.
I like how you use junk box.
Well, yeah, it's because
I know, it's perfect, and that's what it was too. And made the show that way. And you're right. If you don't have somebody to draft with, Jimmy Johnson, of all those cars you just named, can get into a race for the first time in a couple of years and be a threat to win the damn race. Wouldn't that be something if Jimmy Johnson, I mean, who wouldn't want to work with one of the greatest drivers ever to sit behind the wheel? And if he had a shot to win that thing, he wouldn't be, he's already said he's not running the whole schedule. So, here's your biggest race. I'll take the money. I'll have my picture taken. I'll go on talk shows, but I won't be in the playoffs and I won't be your champion. Wouldn't that be a scenario?
Oh, yeah. And the way to get in now for those open cars, they're going to take 2 from the qualifiers. The top car and each qualifier gets in the top 2 in qualifying. So in your single car runs, the fastest 2 open cars are going to be locked in the race. And it's really hard to get in, I think, if you're an open car right now. And, we'll put something out there because we had kind of heard some buzz. You know, those open cars, that 13 car is a quality car. That's the third car there. I think they're going to run some more races this year. And from what we hear, right, Brian, that car might be leaping tall buildings in a single bound in Bristol.
Yeah, just leave that out there.
Okay, I think if I'm putting 2 and 2 together, I think
we'll see what happens.
That's it. We'll just leave it at that.
You guys, you throw it out and then you expect me not to say anything? Come on. That's pretty funny. Gentlemen, a full week, you're there for it all. It's got to be just one of those things and you're going to do this program.
Leftovers. Or the DMV.
Number 97.
Or house cleaning. Or
Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the CPAP Games live from the Hayes bedroom. It's another eventful night, Bruce.
It sure is, Ron. Steve has been struggling with his CPAP.
His wife, Michelle, is trying to contain her rage.
Michelle throws an elbow.
She's leaving for the couch.
Steve should get Inspire.
Absolutely, Bruce. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that gives you comfortable, restful sleep with the click of a remote. There's no mask and no hose. Just sleep.
Learn more at InspireSleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
From the infield on Sunday morning?
Yep, we'll be at our normal spot on Radio Row, so any fans that are out there in the fan zone next week Sunday morning, I know there's a mob of people down there, but we usually have a bunch that show up. You know, we'll be out there amongst all the other local DJs that'll be jamming their music and all that kind of stuff, but we'll be talking the racing there next week, right at Radio Row.
Yep, right before the race. In fact, I sent them our logo for our sign. They'll have a big sign for us and everything.
Beautiful. That's a wonderful thing. All right, as we head to a break, I just wanted to say I lost a friend and a friend of racing this week. A fellow that whose name you may not know right offhand. His name is Kenny Kirk. He was a sponsor for Scott Hansen. He was a spotter for Scott Hansen. He was part of that whole team that operated out of Jerry Gunderman's shop in Franklin for many years and passed away this week in his 70s. Seems the older I get, the younger 70s looks to me. Wonderful guy. He's going to be missed by a lot of people. Kenny Kirk, a Rhode Islander, moved to Wisconsin, passed away this week. We're thinking about him and for Doris and everybody that knew Kenny. We'll take a break and be back.
Inflation. Compensation. Listen here to win $1,000 to kick off your money 23. Happening now.
Log on to thebig920.com. Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lakes Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Top three headed to one for the first time.
Hits the asphalt at Daytona.
Jack Wood cuts a tire. It hangs a hard right turn and goes head on into the outside safer barrier.
To begin the 2023 quest for a championship.
Zane Smith out front when the caution flag came out.
It's the Next Era Energy 250.
Friday night, coverage starts at 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to the program. We have a caller waiting to talk with us. Let me see. I think we're going to talk to somebody that's actually down on Daytona Beach right now. Dennis calling from Daytona Beach, Florida. Is that you? On line 2?
Me.
Hi. Welcome to the program.
How are you guys?
Hello. Go ahead.
You there?
Sorry, Dennis.
Okay, I'm here. Yeah, we're at Daytona Beach. This is our 40th year, and we have a timeshare on the beach, and the destruction down here is like nothing you can imagine.
Yeah, I heard some of the swimming pools that were in the hotels along the beach were actually washed away. Is that right?
Yeah, it's bad.
Crazy.
It's bad,
but you're down there for the whole week to see all the races?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks,
Wow.
Todd. I've been going down so long, I remember when the Thursday races were in the afternoon, and we would meet at the Ramada Inn, and the races actually meant something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I remember those days, too, and as much as we miss them, we can't really, as they say, you can't cry over spilt milk. You got to move along, and we've moved into the next century, and I guess this is more what people want to see. Hey, you got to admit, you get a television audience at night. You don't really get one in the afternoon for Thursday. So.
I understand that, but it emphasizes the point that the race is not about the people in the stands. It's about the TV.
Yeah, well, there's always that to consider. Dennis, thank you for taking a little time out of your 2-week vacation in Florida.
I got 2 predictions for you.
Okay.
Number 1, Jimmy Johnson will be on the front row. They will never let him miss the race.
Right. Well, okay. They won't. I agree with that. And
the second prediction is Auto Club Speedway is gone forever.
Well, and in the 2-mile configuration, it is, but and for 1 year off the schedule, it is. But I think we're all looking forward to having a new short track on the schedule after that. Dean, thanks. Or Dennis, I'm sorry. Thank you for the call. We appreciate your time, and have a fun vacation. And if anybody else wants to call, 414-421-7901. Now, I am finding out from our crack engineer, Matt Losey. Yes, we do have him. We have, you may know him as my partner at Slinger Speedway. However, he is.
Coming up. We have another Dean first. Dean from Jefferson.
You're kidding.
No. Lots of people calling in today.
Okay, another Dean. Some imposter Dean. Okay, go ahead. Hi, Dean.
Hi, how are you doing there? Anyways, I was wondering if Kyle Busch didn't call up Suarez to get him out of jail.
Oh, that's a good one.
I hadn't thought of it, but it sure makes sense to me. Go where the money is.
Hey, yeah. And anyways, if Jimmy Johnson would win the 500, do you think that he would win enough money to even cover expenses without being a charter car?
Oh, that's a good question.
Not really.
Probably not. Yeah, that's pretty tough.
Your unchartered is a different pay plan. I mean, even if you win the race, I wonder how much that obviously more than you normally would get, but I bet it's not as much as you would if you'd be a chartered car.
Yeah. It's an exhibition for Jimmy. It's a little exercise. A wonderful point you have there, Dean. We're glad you brought it up. Hey, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. All right. Now, there is another Dean in this world. He is the track announcer at the Busch Light Clash every year, the second year in a row now, at the L.A. Coliseum. And Dean Strom joins us on the telephone right now. Dean, welcome to the program. Nice to hear your voice.
Good to hear you there, partner. Who's the other Dean?
Some guy. It was a caller, and he had a really great point, and I'm glad he called. But boy, it didn't take much to confuse me. You had a hell of a show on your hands last week, between the cautions and all the quote unquote really big name celebrities in the house. How did you manage?
Yeah. So I got to introduce some of those quote unquote big name celebrities, and I said to my gal, that wrote the scripts and was holding them for me. I said, "Am I allowed to announce these if I don't know who they are?" I didn't know who Cypress Hill was, and I didn't know who the guy who did John McHale.
Wiz
was at halftime.
Okay.
You're not familiar with Mr. Khalifa's work?
That one I am, and I know Cypress Hill as well.
I believe he was at Summerfest once, and I believe I didn't hang around long, so that's all I know.
Was there a haze in the air, Dean, when Wiz Khalifa was performing?
There's a haze. There is a haze in L.A. There's a haze in California. Yeah.
All right, now the reason I had,
but no,
Dean,
you know
is
what?
because
The race was. I thought the race was really pretty darn good, and yes, there was too many cautions in the second half, and I think that was. I watched the second half. Well, I watched the race from outside turns 1 and 2, and there was just not a lot of respect given by some of the drivers, and that's what I think amounted for most of those cautions. But I thought the racing was pretty darn good. I don't know how much you got to see of it on TV, but Kyle Busch was the show, coming from 25th to 2nd. It was awesome.
Now, there was an article, as I was talking earlier, written from a young lady who said she thought it was just the greatest show she'd ever seen because of everything. It wasn't just the racing. It was the entertainment. It was dancing during cautions. Did you facilitate that?
I had nothing to do with it. They had a DJ. Well, they had 3 of them. Yeah, and they were playing music during the cautions and dancing and stuff, you know. And I mean, let's face it, it's an exhibition race, and it's in Southern California. I mean, what are you going to do? Roll out the Charlie Daniels band? You know, that's not going to work.
It's certainly non-traditional, you would say, Dean, correct? Non-traditional racing event.
You know, the area outside turns 1 and 2 underneath the peristyle, that was all college students. That was all. It's the Coliseum is right on the campus of USC. And they put together a ticket package where these college kids could come in there and watch the race. And you know, you expose NASCAR to a whole different crowd. And then I don't know, you got to cater to them a little bit, right, with some DJs.
I would think so. Listen, it's a kind of a mix between, you know, a new venue and something exciting for the old fans to watch, and yet you're trying to attract the new younger fans and have some other entertainment. And here you were, Dean Strom of Muskego, Wisconsin, right smack dab in the middle of it with a mic in your hand. It had to be pretty exciting.
It was pretty darn cool. No doubt. I had kind of like. So I did all the pre-race stuff from outside turns 1 and 2, underneath the peristyle, right next to the stage where the band was playing. I was kind of like backstage. It was kind of, I had like backstage passes, you know, and Rob Lowe was there and Steve Phelps was there. And it was just, it was kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. It was cool. It was fun.
So, hey, Dean, real quick,
it's a good time.
The mufflers. Could you tell a difference in the mufflers?
I could not. Nope, I could not. Maybe a little bit, but they still had a good sound to them. They were still noisy. Ty Gibbs could probably tell the difference with the mufflers. And installing them correctly and incorrectly.
NASCAR was quick to point out it was a problem by the people that put the car together. Had nothing to do with NASCAR. We want to make sure
it was an installation problem. Yes.
Good.
Yep.
Hey,
that was exciting.
Leftovers or the DMV
number 97
or house cleaning or Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the CPAP Games live from the Hayes bedroom. It's another eventful night, Bruce.
It sure is, Ron. Steve has been struggling with his CPAP.
His wife, Michelle, is trying to contain her rage.
Michelle throws an elbow.
She's leaving for the couch.
Steve should get Inspire.
Absolutely, Bruce. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that gives you comfortable, restful sleep with the click of a remote. There's no mask and no hose. Just sleep.
Learn more at InspireSleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
Thanks for taking a couple of minutes after church to be on with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. You holding the fort down there in Phoenix, Todd?
Yeah. We're getting ready for a traffic jam today. There's some kind of a sporting event going on 5 minutes from my house. Hey, thanks, man. We'll see you at Sling.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Dean Strom, a notable guy because he's a track announcer at many different tracks. We'll be back with some results for you.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
It was the dogfight everybody expected.
He gets hit late! He gets hit late!
Know your role and shut your mouth!
It's the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles.
Super Bowl 57.
This Sunday in Glendale, Arizona.
He is firing the football, and it is caught by Devontae Smith.
Patrick Mahomes versus Jalen Hurts. All-day coverage on your home for Super Bowl 57. Kicks off at 1 p.m.
Watch out, call 3. 1, 2, 3.
97.3 The Game.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
We are in the thicket of the Speed Weeks action this week. We'll start Monday, Tampa, Florida, East Bay Raceway Park, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Winter Nationals, night number 1, 5,000 to win, and Tyler Erb in the rocket car picked up the win amongst the 58 there on Monday night. They did it again on Tuesday night. Tampa again for the Winter Nationals, another 5,000 to win. Ashton Winger picked up the win there. 60 cars entered on Tuesday. Also Tuesday night, Barberville, Florida, at Volusia Speedway Park, the Dirt Tart Nationals for the All-Star Circuit of Champions 410 Sprint Cars. 6,000 to win. Brad Sweet picked up the win. You're saying he's an outlaw guy. That is correct. This week here, the outlaw guys are allowed to participate with the All-Star guys without any issues there. So Brad Sweet was your winner. Bill Baylog also was there. He made the show and finished 17th. Wednesday, Lake City, Florida, the Alltech Raceway, the short track Super Series Big Block Modifieds were there, 4,000 to win. Stuart Friesen, NASCAR truck fame, picked up the win in that race. Back at Tampa, East Bay Raceway Park, night number 3, 7,000 to win this time for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. World of Outlaw regular Ryan Gustin picked up the win. That's a big win for him. long time coming. He's one of those guys that's slowly up and coming after all his success in the modifieds. He's getting the late model thing figured out now amongst the 65 cars there. Night number 2 for the All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprints at Volusia for the Dirt Car Nationals, and Carson Macedo picked up the win in the $6,000 check from the All-Stars. Thursday night, we'll go over to the West Coast first, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the dirt track there for the Working Man's Nationals. For the IMCA Modifieds, Troy Moyers III was your winner, and the stock cars went to Josh Kane. Back to Florida, All-Tech Raceway night number 2 for the Short Track Super Series Big Block Mods. David Schilling picked up the win there. Back to Volusia, World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series was supposed to open up on Thursday, but the rains came right before the feature. Actually, they were doing the 4-wide parade lap, rained it out. They ran that on Friday instead. Tampa, Florida, Thursday night for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, 10,000 to win. Hudson O'Neill picked up the win. He's in the Rocket 1 car now, so he finally got his first win in that car. You say finally, but that car usually wins a lot of races during Speed Week, so it took until the Thursday of East Bay for him to pick up his first win. Friday night in Lake City, Florida, the Short Track Super Series, it was rained out. Night number 2 in Las Vegas for the Working Man's Nationals. Colin Hibden was your winner in the Modifieds. Rob Mosley in the IMCA Stock Cars. At Volusia, it was like an 8-hour endurance session at Volusia on Friday. They ran 2 World of Outlaw features there, and David Gravel won them both. So as we leave Volusia, David Gravel is your World of Outlaw points leader. He did that at 2:45 in the morning, Saturday morning. They finally got the UMP Modifieds on the track for their Gator Championships. There was 102 of them that showed up for that event. 5,000 win. Kyle Strickler picked up the win in the wee hours of the morning at Volusia for the UMP Modifieds as they finished off their week.
I bet that the Buc-ee's was crowded at 3 in the morning that night.
Oh, my goodness. And usually the Modifieds run all week long. They ran 6 features each night. That's why I didn't go through every single winner. Among the notables, what's his face who ran the Xfinity Series years ago? I'm drawing a blank now, Dan.
Pastrana.
Travis Pastrana actually won one of those modified features this week. Pretty amazing effort for a guy that's never run modifieds, but he picked up a win. I think it might have been Thursday night he picked up a win there, so congratulations to him.
Justin Haley got a win there. That he ran the Clash, stayed up all night, flew all the way back over to Florida, got to Florida, and then ran like with no sleep and won the modified feature one of those nights.
Yeah, one of those nights. So they ran 6 each night, so that's why I didn't go through them all. Also Friday night at Tampa, night number 5 for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, 12,000 win. Hudson O'Neill picked up the win there, so 2 in a row. He's on a little bit of a roll heading into Volusia this week. Last night, basically everything rained out. They rained out at East Bay. They called that early. They rained out at the Short Track Super Series. Volusia, they made a valiant effort. All the qualifying, hot laps, heat races, B-mains in 45 minutes. Had the feature or the dash pushed out when it started to rain and didn't get it done. They're going to run that feature. The World of Outlaw Sprint Cars are coming back to Volusia during Bike Week on March 5th and 6th, and that's when they're going to make up the feature from last night. They did a race at Las Vegas yesterday for the Working Man National. Colin Hibden was your winner there, and Ryan Slatter won in the stock cars. And one other note, during Friday night's race at East Bay, for those that have been following, East Bay next year is supposed to be the grand finale of East Bay. They're going to close the place down. Mosaic is the mining company there that does gypsum, is going to take it over. So the Speed Weeks was supposed to be the end of it. Well, they announced on October 12th through the 14th of 2024 at East Bay, the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is going to run the East Bay Grand Finale, a pair of 5,000 win shows Thursday and Friday, and then a $50,000 to win Grand Finale on Saturday, October 14th. So East Bay is going to go a little bit longer, and who knows, maybe by the time we get to that, it'll go a little bit longer yet because there's some permitting issues going on with Mosaic. So if you can keep the place going, we might keep going.
We've gone from not getting very many results from the world of asphalt to they're starting to come in now as we're getting ready for Speed Week here down there in Florida. But we started at Tucson last Sunday, the Chili Willy 150. Preston Peltier was the winner. Steve Apel was down there. He told me before the race, I'll tell you right now, this whole thing is going to be about tire preservation. He tells me that he starts 27th, and in 6 laps, he was in 4th place, although they went to the lap before on the first caution, and they scored him 8th after 5 laps. But either way, by the time that thing was done, he had led for a while. He looked great, but he ran out of tires of all thing, and he was running on the cords at the end, ended up 9th. Brad Casa was down there. He tells me he was down there for his bachelor party. He's getting married, and he and his crew wanted to race at Tucson for his bachelor party. I tell you what, we'll come back and talk about New Smyrna and what's been going on there after we take a short break, and be right back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines. Just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at RoadAmerica.com. That's RoadAmerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
Inflation. Compensation. Yeah! Listen here to win $1,000 to kick off your Money 23. Happening now.
Log on to the big920.com.
And as we mentioned, this is the week for New Smyrna, the World Series of Asphalt Racing. Friday night got rained out completely. Last night they ran, and Connor Jones won in the pro late models. The super lates did not race. In the modifieds, Ronnie Silk, I missed that one. You guys said that was a pretty good race, huh?
That was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, those, like you said, Brian, the veteran drivers put on a pretty good show. It was Ronnie Silk, Justin Bonsignor, and 60 car Hirschman. They put a pretty good race on.
Yes, they battled back and forth the last 7 laps. I mean, they barely touched a little bit bumper to bumper wise, but didn't lean into each other, didn't do any of that stuff. I mean, it goes to show when you have experienced drivers out there, they could put on a whale of a race at that track.
Mitch Haver from Wisconsin, who races at Slinger, is down there with a one of those pro late models and had a problem in the first practice and tore the front end off of the thing. So those guys were pretty busy.
Yeah, they got thrashing and got a backup car ready and made the grid. Ran a couple of laps. I think after 3 or 4 laps, they had a throttle issue, and they decided to pull it in and had a chance of wrecking another one. They'll be back at it, I think, tonight to the pro late runs. I know the Supers headline their car tonight for 35 laps.
Now, I believe everything is on flow all week long, correct?
Correct.
The big race that you'll want to see for sure is Tuesday. The ASA Southern Super Series is going to run a 100-lapper. Our crack reporters are going to be there. Johnny Sauter is going to be there in that one. And Gabe Summers. You know, Gabe from Plover, Wisconsin, is the only Wisconsin driver, I think, that's going to be in a super late all week long, isn't he?
Yeah, there's James Lynch is down there from Illinois. He's running around here. He ran some legend cars and the trucks. He'd be number 76, but that's about it.
Wow, it's not like the good old days. Brian, and part of the reason is, and as we were talking before we went on today, is these races really don't pay very much. They run a bunch of 35 lappers during the week, right?
Yeah, and they're only like $1,500 to win and $150 to start. So you never know who's going to show up on Tuesday, because Tuesday's race is $10,000 to win, and it's a Southern Super Series payout, which is a lot more than what the New Smyrna thing is. So that may increase it, but like Saturday night's 100-lapper is only $3,000 to win. So you got Tuesday, $10,000 to win, Saturday, $3,000 to win, same amount of laps, same amount of wear and tear in your car. So you never know. That they're promoting it as you never know who's going to show up on Tuesday night for that race. So we don't know. But, yeah, that's the one thing about New Smyrna is it costs, a lot of money to go down there. I think the Pro Late models, their 35 lappers, only $800 to win. And if you watch last night's race, 31 cars started that race. From 9th place on down, you got $125. So you don't want to wreck your stuff for that.
Yeah, and there were a handful of wrecks again, and those poor guys. I mean, it isn't really cost effective to go race a pro late model all week long, or attempt to do it all week long at New Smyrna. But we'll watch it anyway. So, all right. By the way, for those of you who watch the Chili Willy from Tucson, you get spoiled watching races in Wisconsin, don't you? Like at Slinger Speedway. Compare that safety crew to the safety crew we have at Slinger Speedway, and you just want to shake your head. Was terrible. They did a terrible job. The announcers, listen, I'm not blowing my own horn, but those guys were bad. They were really bad.
I'd like to take that track and drop it into Wisconsin and put all our people around it, because that track race is outstanding. But everything else around it was not so great.
Yeah, you could definitely race all the way around that thing 3 wide without crashing and put a hell of a show on. Unfortunately, between the safety crew doing a lousy. I don't know if you noticed this. After the break in the middle, there were so many cautions in the beginning that they went ahead and they said, "I'll tell you what, we'll make this the halfway point." It was on lap, I think, 60 instead of 75, because it wasn't just another caution. They came back out and lined up and were getting ready to race, and they just stopped them, and nobody said a word for 20 minutes, and we didn't know what was going on. And finally, their lame-ass announcer come on and said, we've determined that the sun is shining over the backstretch and the drivers can't see, so we have to wait till the sun sets. Are you kidding me? And the whole time, we were going to try and make it home in time to watch the Busch Light Clash from the L.A. Cubs. Well, we didn't have to watch that. We were there for some good old short track racing. And I'll tell you one thing. They're going to remember Steve Apel in that car. He did a whale of a job and led at that halfway point we just talked about, too. But, my God, what a lousy show. Gentlemen, we're talking about the poll for the Daytona 500. Qualifying is during the week. It has been traditionally a Hendrick Motorsports invitational for qualifying for the Daytona 500. Which of the Hendrick cars will be on the poll this week? Is that the right question to ask?
I don't know. I'll jump for Jimmy Johnson. Daytona's got a way for special cars like that to find their way in the front row. Danica Patrick set on the pole. Didn't Chase Elliott get the pole? Then the 3
His
car.
rookie year he did.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a car that stands out, and if they let you bet on the pole qualifying, I'd put something down on the 84 car.
I'll say the 24 William Byron. That's at 7:15 Wisconsin time on Wednesday. They qualify. First time on the track for the cars.
You stole my thunder. That's who I was going to take for the poll. Ed, who are you thinking?
The 8 car.
Ooh, Kyle. Who's got a chip on their shoulder? If anybody didn't need a chip, it's Kyle Busch. And now that he has one, look out below. That ought to be fun. Well, we appreciate you tuning in today. Our boys are going to have a whale of a week down in beautiful Florida and do this program from right inside the racetrack next week. So it'll be must listen to as we get the NASCAR season started. And as we like to remind everybody, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. I'd like to thank our LTN contributors, Aaron Baird and Paul Reichert, for all of us involved with the program. We're glad you tune in every Sunday morning and make it a part of your Sundays. We'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.
Leftovers or the DMV
number 97
or house cleaning or Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.